Welcome to the review video for the MEG-Engine Bien-Air implant motor. We affectionately call this the MEG-Engine because this is going to be your best friend in implant surgery. So I'm going to quickly kind of go over and review what everything is, and then we'll go ahead and review how it works. So the very first thing is you're going to see this nice instructional brochure. This comes with your motor. And it's really nicely done in the sense of it breaks down all the instructions which I'm about to give you. So let me go ahead and move this to the side. Each particular aspect of the motor itself is broken into three components, actually four components. We have your irrigation pole. Now this is clearly for an irrigation bag, typically 250 milliliters, 500 milliliters, or even 1,000 milliliter bag can hang from this. It can be saline or sterile water of your choice, whatever you want to use. And this is the actual motor console itself. This is considered your motor cord and your handpiece. We'll go over into specific detail about this a little bit later. And here is this is sterilizable. You can put this in your sterilizer and go ahead and sterilize that, especially with the higher incident now of patient awareness relative to different viruses, bacteria that we're all aware of. You really want to emphasize this sterile motor stand. My favorite part about the MEG-Engine motor from Bien-Air is this magical knob. I like to call it the magical knob. This is very user-friendly in the sense that this is sterilizable. You want to sterilize it after each use. But this is magnetic also, so when you put it onto the secondary knob, it has a little telescopic fit to it. It just goes on and slides on in place and it stays. Now, how you go through the different programs is you hit the button, kind of like your radio station in the car. Hit the button again, hit the button again, hit the button again. It walks you through your three different programs. And how you can quickly change the RPM is just do up or down. And this super fast changes your RPM from 2,000 to 100 in a spin of no time flat. This is what makes this motor really, really, really user-friendly. And quite honestly, in a lot of implant surgeries, when you're trying to use one program and you got to hit a button, you got to press. This is what makes this motor so different in the sense of this quickly goes up and down your different RPMs quickly. And the disposable tubing does come sterilely packaged to you. Now, why do I emphasize the disposable? Different offices tend to reuse this disposable tubing. This is a one-time use tubing. Again, it is sterilely packaged to you, so you simply open this up like this, drop it onto the sterile field, and it looks just like this. All right, the last portion of the motor is the rheostat, the foot rheostat, or what I call the gas pedal. Your rheostat, and I'll show it to you in just a second. So this portion here is set up for you to be able to move in a very sterile fashion. Let's say you're in an awkward position in surgery, your body mechanics are just not correct, and you want to go ahead and turn your rheostat slightly. So imagine my hand is your foot. So you're going to lift this up like this, and you're going to move it side to side. And then you're going to reposition it wherever you want it to go. So now let's go over the rheostat itself. Here is your blue button, which is your irrigation setting. Your orange button, it has a P on it, so you can't miss it. This is for programming. This walks you through the different programs, which we'll go over in just a second. And then your gray button is your forward and reverse. Very simple. You click it once, you're in reverse. You click it again, you're in forward. Or you have to pay attention to the motor, which we'll go over, showing the different aspect of the directions. Now, the nice thing about when you're in the reverse aspect is when you push your reverse gas pedal, it's going to beep, 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 just like a truck backing up does. So always remember, if you hear the beep, 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 you're in reverse. Really simple. All right, so I want to go over this really critical part of the handpiece/motor cord connection. But first I want to emphasize your irrigation port here on your handpiece. This irrigation port is very nice because it is made out of metal. It's not plastic. It's very durable. Just make sure when you're sterilizing it, don't bend it or put any pressure laterally onto the port and close the opening. As you can see here, there's an opening space that leaves room for your irrigation port to be able to be able to push onto. So this, if it was crushed towards the handpiece or pushed and bent, okay, obviously you would have a problem getting your irrigation tubing on there. So make sure and be diligent of that. All right, so let me take this apart, okay, and I want to show you the inner workings of your LED. Now, this this handpiece itself has an LED cord to it. Now you can clearly see on the bottom part here, there's your LED light. And then this portion here is your metal interface, which then interfaces with this little indentation on your motor cord. So this part is absolutely key in aligning these two parts together. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to slowly put this together here. And what I do is I gently interface this like this, and then slowly twist it, and then just literally twist it gently, but yet putting downward pressure on there. And once that interface falls into place, it'll just drop, okay? Notice, there we went, okay? So you noticed it made a nice little click. So what you got, let me redo that, but this way. So what you got to do is put positive pressure downwards, and I want to purposely misalign it. This will not snap into place until your indentations line up. So I'm going to slowly push down, but I'm going to twist at the same time, and it nicely interfaces, and it makes a complete union there. If your motor cord is not completely together like this, do not use it, okay? So again, one more time to emphasize this. I'm purposely misaligning. Push this down, and I'm going to twist gently, whichever direction, by the way. Let me go back the opposite way. Boom. And you'll hear that little click. And you can, again, see that complete union. This makes sure and ensures that not only is everything assembled correctly, but your LED light will work appropriately. I want to show you, here is your LED ports relative to your handpiece. Why is this important? When you're in the posterior area, especially in the second molar, first molar area, you're way in the back, even with a headlamp, a lot of shadowing can take place, which can then affect your alignment because of the shadowing effect, even if, again, you have a headlight on. So the LED port is super important to understand. Rather, the LED feature is super important to understand that this not only emphasizes everything that you're doing, but you can clearly see, which ultimately helps with alignment and everything else you're doing way in the posterior area. So I want to emphasize how the drill properly gets engaged into the implant handpiece. Now, most of your handpieces in the operatory, actually, you depress this button right here. It opens up your jaws. You put your drill in and you let it go, and the jaws friction fit around the drill. The implantology handpiece is the exact opposite. So let's look at that. Let me move this out of the way here. So here's again, your whole assembly. These jaws work when you depress here. They open up just like a normal handpiece does. But your implantology has a latch engaging portion here. So what you do, your implantology drill, rather. As I'm pushing this in, it goes in, and all I have to do is push down and twist, and you hear a little click and it engages. How you disengage it is you push down and you pull, and that's how it disengaged. So again, click is locked in place, and now you can clearly, you pull on it, you can see it's locked in place. But to disengage it, You push down the jaws and you pull out. So again, this goes in, push down, twist, and it locks in place without depressing the jaws. I want to go over the irrigation port and pump one more time to emphasize the importance. Here is your motor pump on the console itself. There is a gap underneath here. There's like a groove that you literally reach underneath with your fingers, push here with your thumb, and simply pull out. Okay? That's it. I want to do that again because it has a nice firm click when this door is engaged. You simply open it, I put my 3 fingers underneath here like this, put this finger and this finger here to kind of push against it, and simply open. All right? So again, this door is here, and this irrigation port and irrigation tubing goes in here. All right? And as the motor's turning, what happens is that the pump is turning, and then it turns against the tube itself. All right. This is why this is so important and so different from other irrigation tubing. Now, I'm going to do this on purpose. This port will not go in this like this properly. Why? Your irrigation spike is facing the wrong direction. Your irrigation spike should always be going towards the back. And once that irrigation spike is going towards the back, this portion here that's automatically looped together and everything for your pump simply slides down. You literally just push it down into place until it's firm and even against your assembly. And then you simply close it up. That's all you do. Okay? Now again, the irrigation spike goes into your bag that's hanging here. If this were facing the opposite way, the pump effect would not work. So again, port here, this goes to your handpiece tubing, which I'll show you now. And again, I showed you the irrigation port earlier. This simply gets pushed onto here like so. And it should be a nice snug fit, so don't expect it to slide on real easy. Nice and firm pressure. And then it goes on nicely like that. Okay, so the last portion of the overview of the MEG-Engine motor from Bien-Air is the actual settings, all right? And how to program the motor relative to whatever your preference is. A lot of times I've noticed docs don't fully always utilize the motor to their full advantage because it's not always programmed. So my point is again, as I said earlier, this can be your best friend in implant surgery, especially with this really fancy dancy knob on here. But it's nice to know what each program setting does and how you can program it yourself. Okay? All right. So let me review the on-off switch. The on-off switch is in the back. So there's off and there's on. You can clearly see the screen coming on. All right. Okay. So this is the motor as it would be coming out of the box straight to you. Once you turn it on, it's going to automatically default to program number 1. And what's going to show up is 2000 RPM. So let me quickly show you the 3 different settings first. So this is, you can clearly see program number 1 is highlighted in green. Simply push the magical knob, as I call it. Now we're in program number 2. And push it again, program number 3. Now you can also do the same thing with the rheostat, hitting the orange button, walking you through the different programs. But again, here is utilizing the magical knob. Now, how do we look at this right here? So this is your normal, let's call it your normal implantology settings relative to the RPMs and what you would like it to be. Most docs do it at about 1,000. Now, look how fast that was. I just quickly, boom, and it turns and changes the RPM so fast that this knob makes it super user-friendly to do whatever you need it to be and change your RPM so fast. So this is your normal drilling protocol. So this is your second drilling protocol, which is preset at a lower RPM, which is 600 RPM. Can you quickly do this or that? Absolutely. This is why, going back to program number 1, if you notice 2000, is it easy to change it? Absolutely. But some people like your different settings. This is how you change your setting. So in softer bone, we don't need as high of RPM, so we can go into 600. So the last setting here in program number 3 is preset at 20 RPM, 45 Newton centimeters, and 20:1. Program number 3 is your implant insertion step. And this highlighted, if it's highlighted, this is what you can change. Notice this is at maximum 70. It comes preset at 45, 20 RPM, 20:1 ratio settings, which is your implantology setting. Now we're going to go over the very specifics of your different settings and how to change them appropriately. All right, remember, out of the box, program number 1, the RPM is automatically preset at 2000 RPM. Well, how do you change that? Let's say you don't, every time you turn it back on, you don't want the RPM to be 2000, you want it to be what you're actually setting it at. So here's what you do. Just like your radio station in your car, you hold this magical knob down, and now you can see this little blue dot, let's call it, or let's reverse triangle, that comes up. This is the one that you can clearly see that this is over. As I move this, it hovers over each particular setting. Now this setting is your RPM. So what do I do to get into that? I push it. Now if it's highlighted in blue, that means it's ready to change. So all I do is come down to 1000 RPM, and that's where you want it. So you simply push that. Now we're good with 1000 RPM, but let's go over the rest of the settings. This setting here is your torque setting. Or let me highlight it like this. Okay. Now you simply turn this blue triangle, reverse triangle, over your torque setting, and then you push this again. Now it's highlighted in blue. Notice, okay, this is adjustable now. Okay. So this is program number 1. The higher the setting on your torque, 20 Newton centimeters is plenty for your high-speed drilling. If you want to raise it up to 50, that's fine too. And then we simply push that, and it's set. Now we go over to your forward and reverse setting. That's forward. Okay, whoops. And then that's reverse. Forward, reverse. So obviously we want it to be in the forward direction. And irrigation is the little water droplets. You can adjust your ratio of irrigation very easily here. This is one that's very highly likely that you guys will absolutely be adjusting, because you know the setting on there is typically in between 2 and 3 dots, which is your typical setting. That's copious irrigation. That's about middle irrigation right there, or even there. And your last one is your gear ratio. Let me show you what that is. In implantology, the handpiece that comes to you is a 20:1 handpiece. So that has to be set at 20:1. What other settings can it be at for your high-speed setting? For your 1:1 handpiece, this can be utilized for your 1:1 setting. Okay? And that's really it. 20:1 or 1:1. Those are your two settings there. So we want it on 20:1. So we're good there. We're happy with all our settings again. Go back to our RPM. It's 1000, 50 Newton centimeter, 20:1 gear ratio, and middle irrigation. We're set to good there. Now you're set. Okay, program number 1 is programmed. Program number 2, see that now changes back to the RPM. So program number 1 is now set at 1000 RPM. Program number 2 is, remember, 600 RPM. That one's quite actually not bad. I would just leave that one there. But if you choose to, again, choose to move this or set it to whatever you want it to be, you can repeat that process as I said earlier. Hold this down. Now you see that little reverse blue triangle, and if whatever you want to change, whether it's the RPM, the torque setting, it's at 55, your forward reverse, your irrigation, or your gear ratio, 20:1 or 1:1. Okay, and obviously we want it at 20:1. So we're happy with everything there. Push that down, and you're set. Now, program number 3 is easily changeable here, because remember, your torque setting that comes preset is 45 Newton centimeters. Instead of changing your RPM on this, it's so easy to change your RPM here because it's so fast to do. So you can quickly, if you want to lower your Newton centimeter here, as you can clearly see. Remember, whatever is highlighted in blue is what you're adjusting, Newton centimeters. So this is all the way down to 10 to 70 Newton centimeters. And that's about it. So I haven't changed anything here, so we're good to go. All right, now let's add 2 more programs to the setting here. All right, so we're gonna long press. Now we see again that blue little diamond. Now, this blue diamond has to be in the settings mode here in order to get to the next setting. So I'm going to hit twice, short press, one more short press. Look at this screen, the display screen. It looks like just everything came up at once, and that's correct. Don't think something is wrong like you broke the motor. You're fine. Okay, hit it again. Steps. This says 3 is highlighted. We simply add 1, 2. That's how you add 5 programs. Okay, so you just short press again, boost in reverse for 10 Newton centimeters, which is really nice. Reset, no. There's your 5 programs. What do you see? Program number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. All right, let's get out of here. Long press. Now you see your 5 programs. Okay, so let's go to program number 4 is 20 RPM, 55 Newton centimeters in reverse. Okay, notice that green button there. It's in reverse. And program number 5 is 20 RPM, 70 Newton centimeters in the forward position. Again, you can adjust this, as I just said, to whatever you want, as the instructions just showed. All right, well, I just want to give a quick summary here at the end of this video. Now we have 5 programs. Don't forget, whatever is highlighted in blue is what's changeable. See, it's 1,000, and it was at from 1,000 to 2,000 in a blink of just a little quick roll, and you're there. All right, magical knob, really important. Okay, magnetized. After every patient, you should sterilize this in your autoclave or statum. Okay, your 5 programs, you walk through your programs by simply pushing the button, and it goes through the different 5 programs. Remember, we added 2. It comes preset with 3. All right, but we added 2. And each button here, or icon here, what this means is this is RPM. Okay, this is your torque setting. This is forward and reverse. This is irrigation. And this is your gear settings here, whether it's 20:1, 1:1, 17:1, whatever it may be. Hopefully this video helped you helped you in the integration of your MEG-Engine motor. And please call MegaGen for anything that you may need whatsoever.